Welcome back everybody to an FPL Hawk YouTube video, and in this one we will be reviewing my Game Week 27 performance as well as looking forward to double Game Week 28 and what I'm looking to do beyond that with my team. So in Game Week 27 I only actually had one player blank, which was Solanke, who got 2 points. I'd considered benching him for Cole Palmer on my bench, who got 5 points. And if I'd done that, I would have had no blankers at all this week, which is great. Share with a 12-pointer in defense was very, very good to see, as well as Neto with an 8-pointer in goal. But ultimately, Haaland captain was quite underwhelming, and nearing 13-point Ariana on my bench stung a lot, because the reason I started Neto was because I thought he would keep a clean sheet and Areola wouldn't, which is exactly what happened. But Areola had the, I mean, you can call it luck or skill, but either way, Areola ended up saving a penalty and therefore getting all 3 bonus points and getting 13 points. So, not ideal, but it's it's a one-off situation, so I'm happy with the decision-making process. And Reguilon, as a differential, did get an assist, even though the game ended 2-2, so I'm happy with that too. Now, this puts me at an overall rank of 62,000 in the world, which isn't a bad place to be at this point. It's a big, big green arrow from where I was last game week. And it's the best rank I've been at since game week 22, and I believe my third highest rank all season, so we're definitely moving in the right direction after a few questionable game weeks. And in total, I got 87 points once my -4 was deducted. Selling Odegaard was predictably a big mistake, but it was a mistake done with future game weeks in mind, so it might end up well. But yeah, I definitely made a bad decision right now. Now, we're looking at game week 28, which is a double game week. And I don't currently have 5 players, but by the deadline, I think I will. So, this is the team at the moment. We've got Neto in goal for that amazing double game week of Sheffield and Luton. I'm expecting a clean sheet in this Sheffield game, and probably a 2-pointer in the Luton game. So I think we could be looking at anywhere between 8 and 12 points, depending on save points, potential bonus points, that kind of thing. Um, and yeah, I think Neto is probably the best goalkeeper you can have for this week. Now, Kabore, before game week 27, I was planning to sell him ahead of the double, but because he hasn't been playing too much lately, not many minutes, his last 90-minute performance was against Arsenal in game week 15 when they lost 4-3. And since then, he had a couple of 45-minute cameos against Newcastle and Chelsea, but he didn't play much. But then last week, he played 90 minutes, and Omari Bell is still injured, which it's not great. I hope he recovers soon. But what that means is that Kabore is more likely to play this double game week. Now, my honest prediction is that he starts one of the two games, and I expect that game to be Crystal Palace. And I don't expect a clean sheet, but it's great to know that he's likely to start. Now, my other two defenders at the moment are Pedro Porro and Gabriel. So with Pedro Porro, he plays Aston Villa away, and he was on my bench for share until in the press conference, Postecoglou said that he's fine and available to play. And Postecoglou is normally quite straightforward and honest in his press conferences. So I do think Pedro Porro is absolutely fine, even though he wasn't seen in training earlier in the week, and he was seen today, right after the press conference. And with Gabriel, I'm not expecting a clean sheet because Tony is a very good striker, and therefore I don't think the Arsenal defense is as essential as it has been in the past few weeks going forwards. But I think he's still a great asset to own. I'm probably gonna keep him for the rest of the season. And yeah, I really like him as an asset. Now, with Pedro Porro, so I've got Cher on the bench, who has Chelsea away this week and blanks next week. So what I'm probably looking to do is, because I think Kabore starts the Crystal Palace game, I'm looking to sell Cher to a Doughty and play him over Pedro Porro, even though I expect him to start, because Aston Villa away is quite a tough match. And I do see that ending possibly 2-2. So he might get an attacking return, but I'd rather have someone like a Doughty in there. Now, moving on to the midfield, and I love my midfield at the moment. I don't think there's a better midfield in the game right now, apart from potentially upgrading Bowen to Salah if we think he starts the next game. And that's not something I'm likely to do this week because I have other priorities. So I'm loving the midfield. Not much to really say here. Saka was taken off at halftime in game of 27 due to illness, but Arteta said he's fine. So I would be very surprised if he doesn't start, even though he's flagged. Now, Son, I think the way Aston Villa play with a high line actually benefits him, and I can really see him coming away with 1 or 2 goals here. So I think if you're looking for a differential captain, and we'll move on to captaincy in a second, but I think if you're looking for a differential captain, Son is probably the way to go, or Saka, or I mean Morris. Um, Now moving on to the front line, we've got Watkins, who is probably another season keeper for me. Great player, having an outstanding season. Got a 13-pointer against Luton last game with 2 goals. So yeah, really great stuff all round. And he has a game in 29, which is quite crucial. Now, Solanke, there's been some concerns over his fitness recently, and that's because he was flagged at 50% chance of playing ahead of game week 27, but he played 88 minutes. He didn't look particularly great, and Iraola has since revealed that he's been carrying a knee injury since game week 21. Now, since then, his points totals have been 2, 8, 2, 4, 12, 2, 2, which isn't fantastic, but he has played Liverpool and City in those matches. And yeah, for someone who's injured, I mean, that's quite remarkable, really. So I'll still be captaining him most likely. I think he is the best captain option. And if I still had my triple captain, I think I would also triple captain him this week. And now, I haven't mentioned Morris yet, because he's actually been my transfer in this week, and I might get a lot of, you know, negative responses to this. But I've sold Erling Haaland for Morris. And the reason for that is that if you look at Luton's games since game week 21, they've had Burnley, Brighton, Newcastle, Sheffield, United, Liverpool, Villa, and those last 3 in particular have been quite tough. But sure, they've only got 1 win, 2 draws, and 4 losses in those 7 games. But a team doesn't necessarily have to be good in FPL for their assets to be good, if that makes sense. Like Luton could lose, I don't know, 10-3 every single week. But if Morris is getting the hat trick and Doughty is getting 3 assists, it doesn't necessarily matter too much. Now that is very extreme, but you get the point. As long as Morris himself is scoring, which he has done quite a lot this season, and in those 7 quite tough games, he's literally gotten 7, 5, 11, 5, 8, 2, and 8 points, which I think is more than most people would think when looking at the games. And yeah, he's got 2 good fixtures in game week 28, Nottingham Forest in 29, and it does get a bit tougher after that, but they are still pretty good fixtures. And I can always bench him anyway or sell him back to a Haaland. So I'm not too worried about this now. I'm not going to actually make the transfer yet. I'll probably do that tomorrow morning. But if I were to do share to Doughty very quickly, Doughty, here he is. This is what the team would look like. I have 11.5 million remaining. I'd be benching Foden, Reguilon, and Pedro Porro, and Ariola. And I would actually be very happy with this because this gives me 5 doublers. It gives me Neto, Doughty, Kabore, Solanke, Morris, which is more than most people. And if you were free hitting this week, how different actually is your team to this? Because sure you'd have Madison in there probably. I mean wildcarding. Sure you'd have Madison in there probably. Maybe Doggy. Probably wouldn't have Kabore in there. But I don't think this is too far off. So I think it's a pretty good team, which has taken a lot of planning to happen. And yeah, that's probably going to be it for this team selection video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already and you're new around here. And yeah, let me know what you guys are doing in the comments below. And I hope you all get green arrows this week.